Hey guys, it's Voslov, and today we're going to be checking out the GTX 1080 benchmarks. So, the benchmarks that we're testing today, we're going to be running Haven, which is running right now on my computer. We're going to be running Battlefield 4 and Battlefield Hardline. These are only games I can provide right now, so I'll have more in the future, but as I'm playing the games, I'll have the GTX 1080 being monitored. I'll have the temperature and the FPS counter along with the performance and how much load it's on. So we're going to have an average FPS as well. Let's get into it and see how this performs. We're going to be starting off with the Heaven benchmark with Direct 3D11, and we're going to have it set at 1920 by 1080 with anti-aliasing set at 8 times. The quality will be at Ultra as well. If you look in the top right corner, you can see the megahertz it's running at, which is 1911, and the megahertz the memory is running at, which is 5000. You can also see the temperature, which ranges from 54 degrees Celsius to 56 degrees Celsius, which is 129 degrees Fahrenheit and 132 degrees Fahrenheit. But this doesn't prove how good a graphics card is in an actual real-life situation with games. So the final score was 1,495 with a minimum FPS of 8.7, which is kind of surprising. I don't know which part it hit 8.7, but the max FPS was 65.1 with VSync turned on. Throughout this gameplay with Battlefield 4 and Battlefield Hardline, all the settings are set the same. So the resolution is 1920 by 1080 at 60 Hz, 100% brightness, VSync is off, and the field of view is set to 70, motion blur is on 0% because that just makes it look worse. The resolution scale is set to 100%, which means it's at 1080p, and the quality is ultra, so the anti-aliasing is set to 4 times MSAA. So starting up here is Battlefield Hardline, and as you can see, it's getting well above 100 FPS. For a 144 Hz monitor, dropping as low as 132 FPS is not bad at all, but it usually stays in an average of 150 to 160 around there. So the CPU usage is around 50 to 70% load, and it's running at 4200 megahertz, and the GPU, which is the GTX 1080, is at 82 degrees Celsius, 99% load, and 1700 megahertz. It sometimes ramps up to 1800 megahertz, but that's only if it's below certain degrees. The graphics card was actually using its full potential at 99% load, but you could overclock it to even do more FPS if you really wanted to.
Took him out.
Now moving on to Battlefield 4. This game was recorded with the same settings as Battlefield Hardline, except it did have VSync on. So this game is less intense when it comes to graphics wise, so it can easily get above 144 Hz. But there's other options that are cheaper, like the 1070, which you can probably still push to 144 Hz or 144 FPS. But then there are the lower options that are the 1060, which haven't come out yet as of uploading this video, and that could probably get close to it on low settings. The CPU stayed around the mid 40s to the high 60s in temperature in Celsius, and the load was around 20 to 40%. It didn't get any higher. So it was running at 4200 megahertz, same as Battlefield Hardline, and it just stayed at that constantly. As goes for the GPU, it was running at the 70s to the 80s degrees in Celsius. And it was running as low as 70% all the way up to 100% usage on load. It went all the way up to 1800 megahertz, which is pretty good because that means the temperature was low enough for it to boost clock. So, would I recommend this for a 144 Hz monitor? Possibly, because this graphics card, it can play any game at 1080p easily over 100 FPS with optimal settings, obviously. So these were just some cool clips that I found. Some of it is in 4K and some of it isn't.
can fly. I believe I can.
Suspect down. Taking too much damage.
My heart's beating, my hands are shaking, but I'm still shooting, and I'm still getting the headshots. It's like boom, headshot, boom, headshot, boom, headshot.
Chakarun, chakarun.
It was at this moment that Nathan knew. He f***ed up.
That'll be the end of this video, and I hope you like it. Please like and subscribe, and see you in the next one.